day for both of these teams. Ariandel needs to make sure that they, in best case, moving ahead of Elysium as the 4th place team has a chance to go in the playoffs, but not guaranteed, as they would need to play an extra qualification match. Ward coming out for Team Oracle, formerly known as Boletar. You might remember him as a very talented killer who is able to put quite some pressure and surprises on the good old experienced teams from time to time. And it seems like we have found our first chase. Quick pickup of the pallet, and that might be enough to go for an injury. Good start.
Well, and I noticed one thing I like to look at. I was checking out the perk. We landed right on the pallet, but did not quite get it there. Sorry, as I was saying before all the excitement happened, we were rocking a bit of a shaman perk, a shaman build today, at least halfway. We have Ruin and Undying. We did hear Undying go there. Grim Pantry, great elevation play with those skeletons, and we do get a very fast down on Hardwell. Sorry, I'm trying to talk about totems here, guys. It's just too much action. Grim Pantry can be a really interesting matchup because being in the swamp, you can have really hard to find totem spots, or you can have those 2 rocks, and I would be very surprised if the totem we saw go down was not one of the rocks on either side of Shack. But the other totem is tucked into a nice little hidden spot on the edge map. So we have a, I don't think we're going to see Ruin going anytime soon, Dire. First gem pops.
Yeah, first gen completed. We will have to see about the Ruin, because it does require you to be really aggressive against these survivors. You need to actively push them away from the generators, and Ward right now are having still a pretty careful approach, as the main building, especially with the basement hook, is pretty far towards the edge of the Grim Pantry, so all the active generators are quite far. You don't want to go too far away from the survivor that you're currently guarding here, so Ruin at the moment not too much of a pain for our survivor team. Swatter coming in here. Good move by him. Unfortunately, it's going to be the injury with the skeletons, so that's going to be a 2-tap down here in the basement, but I don't think they've worried too much, because mission complete. Hartwell is out of the basement. He's already cross-map in his private jet. Looks pretty good, because now you basically gained 60 seconds of extra hang time. You have a generator on 80%. You have another one above the half time, so I think as survivor team, you absolutely cannot complain here.
No, it's really good. The trouble with main building in Grim Pantry is, yes, having a basement hook this early on is fantastic, or 2. But the problem is that Grim Pantry's main building is so isolated from everything else on the map. We're going to see another quick M1 here on the Magic. A little bit of a mage hand fake out there. Put the hand up and then blocked. Is the elevation going to hit? Oh! Goodness, LeMagic with a quick juke at the last second and just dodges that skeleton, and we're okay. Again, I want to bring up the fact, if you're just joining us now, that because of the elevation changes here on Grim Pantry, you can't often, if the Lich knows what they're doing, and it's clear Ward kind of knows the mechanics. If you send if you send skeletons out and there's an elevation change, you often are unable to dodge. You're unable to crouch, sorry. You have to thread the needle. Swatter gets out of basement. Bubbo with the save. Everyone's injured but Bubbo. Doing a little bit of a mind game here. On the end, we swing and we auto-aim onto the wall. A little bit of an early swing there. And we're here for the body block as well. Bubbo is going to take a hit now. All of our survivors are injured, but we have 2 generators done, and it looks like we are chasing around main building. Is not always where you want to be on Grim Pantry, but I think we're going to see a second down on Swatter. Now, the question is, are we going to go back to basement, or are we going to finally start using our perk? Because we have some white hooks on the map here for our killer Ward. I hope that this is a pain res so that they can slow down the gen progress a little bit. And it was. Okay, so the first pain res does come in on the second hook there on Swatter, Dire.
Yeah, I was about to get a little bit worried as well. I was like, this survivor team is so efficient that you might have a good plan in mind as the killer, but if the survivor team is a little bit faster than expected, you sometimes do not get to fulfill your entire strategy, and then you are taking or watching the survivors escaping sooner than you would like to. So Swatter being on the second hook stage here, definitely good news for Ward here and Team Oracle. We do see the reset coming in onto Babu and LeMagic, so survivors opting to take a little bit of a slower approach now, making sure it's not too much risk being taken. That is now, though, a great combination with the Hex Ruin, because as we all know, for reset you have to pull away from the active generators, and that means the regression can do a little bit of work for you. Ward realizes that as well, gained a little bit of time, and can actually go back to Swatter now, making sure that he's going to be eliminated. And Andrew, I do think even if we camp Swatter here, and even if we get the kill now, they should not be able to get 2 generators out of the way. So Ward actually proving us great calculations here.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried, like you said, when we got the basement hook, but we got the trade, and then we're getting out in a cross map. The reset was really good. Bubbo and LeMagic had finished the generator, and then reset sort of over on the left side of the map, the small building between Shack and Main. But unfortunately, they weren't able to get over to the unhook in time. So we have injured Hardwell, and then we have the 2 survivors that were able to reset. But at the end of the day, we weren't able to get the save before the 3v1. So now we're 3v1 with two gens, and we do have the main generator still available, which is kind of isolated, but there are a couple generators. If you combine that with the generators by the dock, good duck there by LeMagic, good crouch. If you combine main generator with the dock generator, you've got a little bit of a sustainable 3-gen. It's not really that easy to hold, but with Ruin still active, every time you chase the survivors off the generators, you're going to get regression automatically. You don't have to stop and kick any generators to ask for some regression. We hear a little bit of progress on this generator. I don't imagine if you use your skeletons at this angle that they're going to not be able to thread the needle. The further the skeletons get away, the more they spread and the easier they are to dodge. You really want to drop those skeletons right on the head of the survivor, preferably at a slightly lower elevation. But we're just kind of patrolling the generators, trying to see what we can find. I think that must have been main gen they popped, and yeah, Ward, I probably heard the progress there and said, you know what, I can't be bothered. So this should be a skeleton hit, hopefully, for our killer. And there it is. Yep, elevation again. I think that LeMagic tried to get down the stairs, but unfortunately probably took that skeleton right to the face, and now we have another new survivor.
And it is so impressive, right? How fast the speed drops on the survivor side as soon as an elimination is done. But LeMagic doing what's needed here, staying alive, making sure that we can run a little bit longer. And we are going into the corner of the Grim Pantry, and that's going to be very likely the final generator finding completion here. Ward are a little bit overcommitting to this survivor. Babu and Hardwell finishing the job here. LeMagic is a good survivor to be in chase. We do not have any stages on them yet, so it would be 7 stages if we do get the down and the kill on LeMagic. But LeMagic doesn't seem like just accepting that. He wants to show us a little bit more. He's showing us some wonderful jukes. If you are from France, you would say he's looking like LeMagic, but unfortunately it is coming to an end. Babu and Hardwell have the decision now if they want to rescue the team member, and honestly I feel like taking 7 stages is also a realistic option. You wouldn't be sad walking out with 7 stages against a leech, especially with Ward being kind of a leech specialist.
Yeah, it's so strange because, again, Vecna is one of those killers that I don't feel is very strong, but as we've talked about, you don't see a lot of Vecna play. You don't, even in public matches, even when you're playing casually, you don't see a whole lot of Vecna. So it's people have a little bit less experience playing them, not entirely sure about the counterplay. And like you just said, Dyer, Bubbo and Hardwell say, you know what, we'll take 7 and go. I feel like if the survivors play well, this is not supposed to be a 4K, but things can go so wrong so fast. What with, like, you know, getting clipped by a skeleton and then 2-tapped and whatnot. I think 7, we're out the door and we're feeling pretty happy about that result.
Yeah, absolutely. I understand it. You take that every day of the week, especially when you have this survivor roster in your back, right? It's not like this is a surprisingly good result for Ariandel. You know that you will be able
to gain. So I think I think, well, like you said, we're loaded in here. We're gonna have to see how Oracle decides to play it. We are spawned all sort of near the main building here, but we'll have to see. Obviously, stealthing is not really an option in this situation. We do have one totem on the board again. Really good fly by Bubbo there. I think we're gonna cut off the ability to get to that other small room, and I don't know if we make it back in time. Yeah, that was a little bit of an ambitious mage hand. Doesn't quite work out for us. I'm kind of keeping my eyes open while we're in this chase to see if I can locate where the ruin spawn is, to see if it is one of those terrible, terrible spawns. It's not it was not one of the rocks, but nonetheless, it's gone. So Ruin is out of the game. We have opted for Sloppy Butcher instead of Undying. So hopefully we'll see some good hit and run or some good hit tank punishing because Ruin has been removed now that Undying wasn't chosen. So we're still trying to get our first hit from Bubbo. Survivor's doing a really good job of staying just out of reach.
Yeah, you love to see it, and that is exactly the little bit of an aggressive approach at the same time that you would like to see. They are quick on the generators, they are not scared of the killer, instead they are communicating, they are leaving early, and in DBD comp it's all about time, right? If you're leaving that generator early, due to a good communication that you have with your team members, and you have a head start of 6, 7, 8 seconds, just multiply that by the number of times you get in chase with the killer during a match, that overall adds up to an entire minute already. Courtney, unfortunately, not able to run for much longer here, yet it was a good chase back towards the main building as well. We talked about it in trial number 1. Main building, little bit to the outside of the Grim Pantry. A lot of active generators are located on the other side. So again, time factor, the killer has to hook, the killer has to travel back towards the active generator, and you can even be a little bit too greedy. Bubbo, no. What is happening here? Courtney,
he couldn't find a hook. He couldn't find a hook because of boilover. Oh, quick down again. No,
value.
I was losing my mind. It was like he was downstairs in main and he couldn't find a hook because the hooks are invisible. I'm sorry, I don't mean to jump in, but look, that hook right there was available. I don't think he knew it was there. I don't think he saw it. Oh my goodness, sorry. I didn't mean to jump in there. I was losing my mind sitting here going like biting my nails.
Andrew, boil over S tier perk. Rule committee, please take a look at it. What a play here. What a play. I mean, the problem is we won is the head of the rule committee, so I don't think boil over is getting banned up. It will be allowed on 2 survivors now. But what a play here from Oracle. What a great move. And this is so punishing. Courtney now hooked again. Yeah, so basically not too much damage. Yet another half of a minute easily being added there on the clock of Bubbo. What a play. That was brilliant. That was phenomenal. Already with the rescue onto Courtney while Ward is running around the little building here, not taking an injury. Oracle looking absolute strong. 3rd generator already. And now is the biggest question though. Will they be able to maintain this?
So it's really... Bubbo, I don't know. Like honestly, when you get a wiggle off, particularly your first down, it can mess with your head a little bit. And I'm wondering if that's what happened there with Bubbo. Bubbo was in the little small shack there chasing Ward, and it was. I mean, he might as well have been holding up a poster board saying, "I'm about to throw skeletons at you," because you could see he was standing there trying to change spells, and Ward was like, "I know what you're doing, buddy." So and then because they used the cooldown. When Ward ran from the little building to shack, could have used the elevation there, but we were on cooldown. So I don't know if that was a calculated decision or Bubble got a little bit panicked. Took a minute there. We did get the down here on Ward with shack pilot up, which you hate to see. And I think we're going to get a basement hook here, maybe. Oh, no, I think we're feeling like we need to get that pain risk. I want to throw it out to Bubble. I may have been wrong because we're going for that same hook that we wiggled from. It was definitely boil over value, but they may have seen the close hook and decided I'm going for that one because I see it's glowing white, because I think that was a pain res. But still, nonetheless, definitely boil over value. Good shoot. Oh no, but he didn't get the unhook in time, and Courtney takes the M1, and now we're going to have to cycle somebody else around for the save here. We get Mage Hand. Oh no, I think if we just straight up vaulted, we were okay. But Courtney goes down for the 2nd time, and Courtney... did not get pain res that first hook, I believe. So this could be another pain res coming in.
They are about to find out the truth. Is it going to... Are they? Yeah, I was just about to say when I saw the heart right there, they're going for the block of the hook in order to give Courtney enough time for a wiggle off, and Flix just going for the generator in the distance. What a performance by Team Oracle. Get that team straight into the playoffs with a performance like this. We won, chilling in the locker, going to get grabbed now, but that is going to be enough survivors walking out of the door here. And Oracle not only taking set number 1, they are taking that with such enthusiasm, motivation, and it was so beautiful to watch what they cooked here on the survivor side. Absolute insane.
That was phenomenal, and you know, I kind of talked about it. You go for these plays. They got 2 people double blocking the hook, and it paid off. It wound up working out. I'm not surprised. Like that was a very, very good call out. Hey, look, if we get this pain res, we get a second hook, and we're still in this match. If you can body block this, we're getting people out the door, and we should be in really good shape. And it worked out. And yeah, 5 hook states against Vecna. Again, I want to point out a couple weeks ago, we saw a 4K5 with Vecna. It was a little bit of a funny game that went a little bit wrong for the team, but we saw a 4K5 on the board, I believe, for Vecna. So this is more what I expect from a Vecna game, more around that, you know, anywhere between 5 to 10 hooks. But really, I want to say really well played by both survivor teams. But Oracle's here saying, listen, we're coming up on the. We do see Ruin, which will really play into that sort of hit and run play. So I like the sloppy butcher pick as well. I'm not so sure about corrupt intervention. I feel like it's not necessary on the Ghost Face. As a big long stock on Ward. Ward is essentially exposed at this point. Big nodders, big nodders from Bubbo.
That is basically the entire danger that we described on how you get 4K'd unexpectedly fulfilled by Oracle within 3.7 seconds after loading into the trial. That is huge, Oracle. That is a speed run right there. A little bit of a gift towards Bubbo, that's for sure here. Ward needs to be very careful with the next move, because basically as soon as you see the Ghost Face, you are already fully exposed. Bubbo following the trail here has a survivor around. That's going to be Flix right here taking the stun. We get a ping from our tournament analyst from the background. 9 stages was the average in season 9. So let's see if Bubbo can get ahead of that. Ruin already leaving the trial. That's definitely now a W for Oracle right here, because Ruin on Larry's is not easy to locate, especially when it's sometimes spawned towards the edges of the map, sometimes even at the exit gates can be really difficult to find. So the fact that this is already out of the way, definitely a point for Oracle now.
Dyer, I see something incredibly questionable. Look at the add-ons. I see something is specifically missing, and I think it's potentially going to come to bite Bubbo in the back. Typically the top add-on there you see on your screen is called Philly. It reduces the amount of stock you need to fully stock someone, I believe, by 20%. Very strong add-on. But we also have the drop leg knife sheath. That's so hard to say. Drop leg knife sheath, which will give you a speed boost when you fully stock somebody. The one that is missing is I guess it's a blue add-on now, called Olsen's Wallet. Olsen's Wallet means every time you break a pallet, you get your power back instantly. I feel like that is a non-negotiable thing you need on a Ghost Face match. If somebody drops a pallet, breaks you out of stock and drops a pallet, you can instantly kick that pallet and get back your stock. That's not what Bubbo's not going to be able to do that. So we may find Bubbo starve for power in certain key situations. However, here comes that speed we were just talking about, and this pallet is, oh my goodness, this is so funny, because this pallet can be so funny. This can be a window and a door, and it makes it a really, really strong pallet. But when it's 2 doors, it's basically the weakest pallet in the game, and Ward found out the hard way, and we're going to see our first down here and our first stock kill.
2 minutes and 45 seconds have passed until this very first down. That's definitely a great first chase time and results in 2 generators being completed. Now, brutally looking at the numbers, 2 minutes 45 should result in a little bit of extra pressure on the gens, but that is the sign that Babo did a good job in confusing the survivors, switching between them multiple times, keeping them busy and on their toes, and also the removal of Hex Ruin costed a little bit of time. So even though it took almost 3 minutes, only losing 2 generators in exchange for that is definitely something you can live with on the killer side. Babo heads back towards the hooked survivor just in time, as we see Oracle now taking the rescue and Babo trying to cut them off here. You do see the scratch marks, but our survivor, yeah, there they are, trying to get out of the way, but Ward will be obviously the target, Andrew, because you want to get him removed from the trial as quick as possible here.
Absolutely, and if you look at the HUD, you see about not a full stock on anybody, but you do get about 50% on a couple survivors, and we're going to see a down on Ward there. Lost sight of the red stain there for just a second, and comes out the door. Now, we don't have any pain res, but we are running Eruption, so all those gens we're seeing kicked are going to get a little bit of regression, maybe a little bit of aura reading right now, but for the time being, gens across the map from the hook are pretty safe to work on. And you're not going to have to worry about pain res. We do see 3 pretty nice generators sort of... Oh my goodness! Great read out here! Finds Cartney, decides to go for the tag and apply the Sloppy Butcher instead of leaving them about 90% stock. We're going to see the down on Cartney. I'm assuming that's going to be a slug. We want Ward out of this game immediately.
Yeah,
is there anything?
It's good. It's good that Cartney didn't get immediately downed right there, so the fact that we were even making a few meters here, that was important, and Ward also needs to have a good run. 3rd generator is being completed. We get a little bit into a comeback in the mid game here. V1 is also around, needs to be careful though, 60% stalked already. And Babo heading back towards Cartney, now being picked up. So Oracle doing a really good job here. They are progressing the generators, and at the same time, basically on the fly, they pick up the team members. They take care of the needed resets. We won with a lot of time waste here, basically, but in exchange for a 99.9, I think time will tell if that was a good trade-off.
Yeah, okay, so it's really interesting now. Flix is the only healthy survivor, if you look at things that way. I think we've had to drop. I think that with V1 coming in and protecting, and I think that with what great swing through the pallet. That's what I love to see as a killer main. Speaking of, here's Flix now. We're getting some stock on. Oh my goodness. Okay, now we're in a lot of danger here. The worst part about all this too is when you're fully stocked, you're essentially injured, but you can't heal. Right? Like, V1 is 99% stocked. You can't get rid of it without tanking a hit. There's no way to do it. You can't just go, oh, I'm injured. I'm one hit death. I can get healed. V1 is in danger. I'm sure they're aware of it based on how much stock came through, but V1 is in danger. Flix is in a lot of danger. Ward, not so much now that we got the heal off, but yeah, this game is the knife edge right now, where this game is on the verge of going one way or the other, and we're gonna have to see whether the killer can take the survivors onto their back heel, or if the survivors are able to keep those comms going, stop this, stop the bouncing back and forth, and really keep good eyes on the killer.
And we have 2 survivors that need to keep really good eyes because they are almost exposed, and 2 survivors who are injured. So basically every single Oracle survivor at the moment is in great danger. Flix does get the stun, very important stun if you ask me, because now it's all about the final generator, and you need every possible second in order to get the progress in. A little bit of a check spot competition here. Nice moving by Flix. That is exactly how you run the killer, but unfortunately a little bit too greedy afterwards. That's going to be the quick down right here. But the good news is that's going to be a fresh hook. So we do have around about 2 minutes of extra hang time. That's going to be enough time to set back towards the generators, get a little bit of progress in, and hopefully maybe even getting into the end game.
Survivors did a really, really good job of getting Ward out of danger. You saw it was V1 gets fully exposed. I was going to say, you see V1, you saw V1 kind of running cover for Ward. They managed to get them out of the way. It led to V1 being exposed, but I don't think that was an intentional exposure. You could have got an insta-down if you'd snuck up on V1 and Cartney hadn't been in the way. But Cartney takes the hit. Cartney's injured now, but V1 looks like they're going to get out of dodge just safely and not end up getting exposed is not going to come into play. This pallet on low ping is a god pallet if you can watch the check spots properly. But unfortunately, a little bit of a spam vault there, and Cartney does go down. Bubble gets the down. We are going to get this last generator done though, and now it comes down to V1 needs to stay hidden. V1 is the last fresh hook. Thankfully for the survivors, unfortunately for the killer, V1 was fully stocked, so healthy and safe, and probably not going to be in too much danger working on that door there. I don't think Bubble gets to the store before they finish it. Yeah,
I would say so as well. Yeah, that should be guaranteed. The escape here for both of.
Oh no!
Oh, okay, good.
He turned around.
Already turned around because V1 was about to sacrifice the own team member. If Babu, I'm telling you, if Babu would not have given up because he anticipated they should make it, he would have gotten it down there. He would have gotten it.
Good old team sandbagging your team. Absolutely agree. But now the survivors have got the unhook and the save, the save and the heal. And I think only the one door is open, but unless we get a really miracle stock on Cartney here, I don't think we get any more hook states. I think we probably get out the door here because there's going to be a whole team to tank hits here in a second. V1 and Ward didn't even, not only did they not take it down, they also didn't get forced out. So because of that, now we have a full healthy team to run cover for Mr. President. Get down, Mr. President, get down. And that's going to end up being, I think that was what, 5 hooks?
5 stages. Yeah, 5 stages. We had 9 stages average in season 9. Just as a reminder, recently we haven't seen too much of a Ghost Face, so maybe that is the reason why we are on 5 stages now, because he isn't too popular at the moment in comp and is more like a niche killer. On the other hand, though, we also need to note down it was Ariandel's pick. They said Ghost Face is our indoor killer, our stealth killer. This is where we can create some signal where they say, oh god, Ghost Face coming in. We need to practice that specifically. And I feel like either Oracle practiced the hell out of Ghost Face, or it was just not Babu's set. Nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Excise, Swatter, iPick, and Hartwell now have the chance to prove us how fantastic they can perform against the Ghost Face. Ward coming out again after playing the Leech. That was pretty successful in the first set, so here we go.
Again, you will see, there you go, power recharge. We are rocking, this is a lot more standard. Again, I don't want to harp on the add-ons anymore, but I would say that the drop leg knife sheath, if I were to go with Philly, I would go Philly Olsen's wallet more than the drop. Like the boost is nice, but a lot of the times the boost cannot get you as much. Sometimes you won't get value out of the boost, like we saw last match with V1, and I think that having power active far more often is more important if you really want to rock Philly and get those faster stocks. Again, with the corrupt intervention, I feel like with the Ghost Face, because the survivors kind of got to slow down. Good stock on iPick there, because the survivors have to slow down and not really jump on generators until we're in chase. I feel like corrupt intervention can be bypassed for another perk. But that being said, I mean, we haven't got a hit, we haven't got a down yet. We got a little bit of stock going here. We're running close to the 2-minute mark in the trial with corrupt intervention about to run out, and we have pain res this time instead of ruin. So no free regression when you run up on people. But then again, last match we saw the ruin go down basically in the first chase. So I think we'll probably see a little bit more value out of pain res this time. We're getting a little bit of a note here from the stat desk here. The wondrous Toby, Excise. is the best survivor, statistically speaking, averaging 1.3 stages per game on survivors. So I don't know whether that's incredible stealth or the juiciest chases, but either way, you'd be best to find somebody else. And speaking of which, we are chasing Xeyes, the only survivor on the map right now without any stock, but also the only survivor who's injured.
And so far, it's definitely a slower approach on the Ghost Face than in the previous one. We have Corrupt Intervention fully expired, and not because someone got the down here. We do have quite some stock progress now on 3 survivors, but we haven't been able yet to force someone into the difficult chase where they need to run against the exposure. So it does look slow when we look on the UI, because the number still tells us that there are 5 generators to complete, but we hear already here and there some good progress in the objectives. So the survivors are working individually on different generators, and if Ward is not speeding it up a little bit, he might find himself in the difficult situation that 3 generators around him are completed, and then you are getting a little bit into panic mode. So what we need is a jump scare. We do need to get someone into exposed. We need to get someone down, and we also need to start giving the survivor team some extra tasks, right? An unhook, a reset. This is where you gain time for generator defense from, and we have everyone healthy here. Right now we aren't even able to jump scare just into a normal injury.
Well, and it's interesting. Again, we're chasing Xeyes, who again takes the M1. Xeyes is we have 2 survivors who are right. If you look at the HUD there, Hardwell is very hard. Yeah, there it is. Hardware. Mind you, you make this window or the pallet. Going for the pallet was questionable. If you hit that window, you make it, but unfortunately went to the pallet, and now we're going to see Hardwell go down. Is the pallet save going to come in? It does. Oh my goodness, this is kind of falling apart for Ward. That was such a that felt like a questionable play by Hardwell, but maybe they called out, hey, go down under pallet if you're not going to make it. I think it's really fortunate we didn't have one of those swing through the pallets and drop it. Otherwise, that would have been a devastating situation for the survivors. But as it plays, now Hardwell, like I said last time, Hardwell was basically injured, being fully stocked and healthy. Now Hardwell's injured and not stocked, so you can heal Hardwell if you manage to go. And we're going to see the down on iPick now. Oh. Can we get the pickup without the pallet? But I think we're going for it. So, okay, we get a do-over from Ward, and Ward is going to hit the window.
I was about to say that was a very optimistic swing, yet I feel like there's a little bit of panic already in there, because you know that you really need some downs here. So you would wish that the behavior server magically connects that hit. Luckily, that's going to happen on Hardwell here. iPick will most likely be picked up. There's enough time and distance for the survivor team in order to take care of the team members. Swatter already with the generator, and Xeyes with the pickup. They might even have enough time to heal the injury there. Yeah, first hook stage coming in the basement. That can be tricky. We see a lot of Ghost Face that are sometimes waiting on the staircase, lurking a little bit, and then trying to aim towards the survivor that is coming down into the basement, quickly getting the exposure, and then basically getting them on the staircase already. We will see how that is working here for Ward, because you definitely need to apply some active pressure on the survivors as well here. I'm just wondering when all of these prepared generators are finally getting completed.
Yeah, like that down came in, or the, technically 3 downs, but that down came in. Oh, and we're on Swatter, the one with the stock here, and we're gonna get the full stock on Swatter. It came in when there were still 5 generators left, but it wasn't really 5 generators because, we had 3 very, 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 very high progress. Swatter was able to finish that one. We're gonna leave the slug and try and, cut off this this unhook, and we're gonna try and continue the tunnel out on Hardwell here, take the tag on iPick. It's really interesting. We had at the beginning of this match, we had a bunch of stock and no injuries. Now we have a bunch of injuries and no stock. Okay, Larry's is such an interesting map, I gotta say. Oh my goodness, the swing through! I feel like Hardwell had time to drop that pallet, but decided to greet it. I don't think we're gonna get the pallet save there, and we don't. Hardwell's going on the second hook here, and we might go back to, we're going back to basement, let's go. second gen pops. Sorry, totally lost my train of thought there. That pallet, it's too late now. I was gonna talk about that pallet. In the last match, that pallet had a window attached to it with no open door, and it was ridiculously powerful. This time it's got 2 open doors next to it, and it's one of the worst pallets in the game. It's really interesting. Larry's has such interesting spawns that you have to really have your heads up and your head on a swivel and pre-scout situations, because the same pallet in the same spot 2 matches back to back will be strong or super weak, and you have to be aware of these situations. Very interesting map. I'm a real big fan of Larry's. RNG is obviously not always fun, but I do think it's interesting in a high communication, high strategic match like Ghost Face to be aware of what resources you have available.
And they do actually pull the basement successfully, but the problem is that X-Eyes is pretty fast stalked already. Hardwell, though, does manage to break Ward out of the stealth, and that is now a little bit of a loss for Ward here. Plan doesn't work out. You do not get the full stalk onto X-Eyes. You even need to M1 here, which basically resets the progress of stalking that you have done so far. Survivors running together, making sure that the elimination is not possible. iPick is going to happily take the down here if needed, and Ward just trying to catch up, trying to get ahead of the survivor. Realizes, though, with the God Pallet in the hallway in reach, that's not going to be successful. So it's a good strategy for now to just be a little bit aggressive here, remove that pallet for the later match in order to not deal with it anymore, and then going back into stealth and trying to find the next survivor here. But huge play by Ariandel, making sure no elimination coming through, not even a trade. Andrew, that is the crazy fact here. They are all standing, they're all running around, and that Ward had a basement hook he tried to defend, and now there's not even a trade. That is well played by our survivor team.
I think that Ward maybe panic swung back when right after the unhook, right as we came out and we're playing that really terrible that terrible pallet in the main building, and we're seeing it down, but we got lots of survivors nearby. This could very easily be a save, and Ward knows it, tries to pick up on the edge of the pallet, and now we're well under pallet, and I would imagine we're going to see a survivor lurking nearby. I saw Swatter broke Ward out of stock before. Sorry, going back there, X-Eyes had been like 75% stocked and then was hanging out at that bad pallet trying to give... I'm holding my breath. Okay, no, Hardwell is going to die. X-Eyes was hanging out trying to help out Hardwell, but I think you had enough time. If you didn't swing there and you just kept Hardwell at that bad pallet, if you let your stock, your power, your Night Shroud recharge, I think you could have got an insta down on X-Eyes. And now you've got a down, slugged, Hardwell still stuck on that bad pallet, would take that time to get out of there again, but now you've got even more pressure on the survivors. So I don't know if Ward maybe thought, you know what, hit X-Eyes, get them the heck out of here and keep going, or it was just maybe I got to get you out of my way, I got to get Hardwell panic moment. But I think that was maybe a turning point that let Hardwell live a little longer. It hasn't cost Ward a ton of generators yet, though. Like, they've got a lot of progress, but we've still only seen 2 gens pop, and we don't have a very difficult win condition here. We only got to get 6 hooks or 5 hooks on all 4 survivors. And X-Eyes is going to take a full stock here as well. This is looking a little rough for our survivors.
It is unfortunately pretty rough now, and it seems like to be one of these turning points again, unfortunately, right? Ariandel ahead, basically, I would say, of Ward. We had a much slower early game for the killer. We had a way longer time until we had the exposure risk build up on the survivors. We had longer chases, and unfortunately now we are already close to Oracle being a little bit ahead of them. So basically, Andrew, everything that we said about Oracle, with unfortunately not being able to pull through, sometimes being inconsistent, etc., everything that we have said about Oracle now applies to Ariandel. This is a new form of caster curse.
They're dialed in today. Oracle's ready to go. Like, and let's keep in mind too, if Oracle pulls this out and it really looks like, oh my goodness, that's it. Okay. Good. The read, how? Like, Swatter was in there for a really long time. I wondered, there's no crow. That's wild. That's game over. That's 2 in the basement. You can stand here and wait. So unless a miracle happens, unless someone pulls some La Magic, we're gonna see Oracle going up 2-0, which means Ariandel can only tie the set. Ariandel cannot win, and that's not what you want when you're sort of sitting at the bottom of the top of the leaderboard here. Mind you, iPick makes it all the way down and gets double unhooked somewhat for free. I don't know how much they're going to get out of here, but that was a really good stealth and really good recovery there. I don't think it's going to end up changing the result too much, but game's not over yet, that's for sure.
Game's not over for sure, and you need to make sure also, even if you do drop it now and it's not ending in a tie, which is impossible as soon as Excise is being hooked here, but you need to make sure that you do maintain the good performance and the good mindset on the Survivor team, right? Because you only have one more chance as to... There's no way that they are now pulling this. Now where we have to go for a perfect game, they come in with the flashlight and they make sure that we are running a little bit longer here. Ward, it is not over yet. You do need one more hook stage. Okay, iPick is down again. What do we get now? Pallet safe, shutting down Ward's windows. Okay, no, it's not going to happen. iPick going on to the hook. So it is a 2-0 for Oracle officially here. But yeah, you basically only have one more chance as Ariandel here. And if you lose that today and Elysium takes a win, then it is almost looking like Ariandel could even drop from the playoffs, at least from that 4th place over the next 2 weekends. And that would be a crazy turn.
And Oracle's not out of reach. I mean, they're not up there. They are fairly far behind. But if we see win after win after win for Oracle, they can still do really well in this tournament. So I'm loving the way this is going down. I'm loving ambitious swing there on Swatter. I would be careful. Ward likes swinging through pallets there, Bill. And I think we are going to see it down here. Yeah, this is not the way I thought today would go. I kind of thought, given what the stakes are and the skill of both teams, I kind of thought we would see a 1-1 going into the second half of the matchup today. But I mean, if Oracle pulls out a win on the Nurse set, it's over 3-0. And even if Ariandel manages to pull off a win on the Nurse set, or even a tie, right? Like even a tie is a loss, right? So. Because you need 2 to win.
Even a tie is a loss. Only a win is a win, but a tie is a tie first, and then the tie is basically a loss, because for a win, a tie is only a tie, which means it's a loss, because a loss is not a tie and not a win, so the win is also not a win.
Totally clear. I know everyone totally followed that 100% of the way. Yeah, no, but it's true. A win, Ariandel has to go 2-0 in the second half of this set in order to not take a loss and actually bank some points today. I totally lost track of what's going on in the match. I was enjoying the rundown of the potential results that could happen from you, Dyer.
I'm glad to help out whenever needed. iPick says goodbye though, and Excise again. We need to talk about Excise, ladies and gentlemen. He has an escape rate that is so high that it's difficult to even track in our stat. 1.3 stages average. He is the best survivor when we talk about the numbers. 1.3 stages average throughout season 9. He's always escaping. Look at him. Look at him walking out another trial here. Regardless of how difficult it is, Excise is unstoppable. That is crazy. That is definitely something we will have to keep in mind, because it is going to be the showdown now for Ariandel. They need a win in this set. You are totally right. Only a win will help them. A tie is not enough, because then it's 2-0. We only have one more set, so we can shut down and go touch grass. That means you need your specialists now, though. You need someone like Excise who has one.
Hey, we are loading into the first game of the third set of Oracle versus Ariandel. We have Flicks on the Nurse, classic matchup on Cold Tower 1. We are looking for the survivors of Ariandel. We're looking for Swatter, Bubbo, the La Magic. I almost said the Magic because I'm English, I'm not French, so, but it's La Magic. I didn't mean to disrespect the French like that. And really quick find on Swatter here. And sorry, I'm Bubbo. I know who I'm talking about. Really quick find on Bubbo here. And not gonna get away from that. I love a Nurse set though, everybody. I'm a big fan. Nurse is so interesting because it totally changes up the chases. You don't chase like normal killers. Your edge map is suddenly the strongest place on the map, and I'm a huge fan of some Nurse. We're gonna want to see it down pretty quickly here from Flix. But so far, Bubble, of course, I was about to say, so far Bubble's getting out of this safe and then takes a hit. Dyer, are you a big Nurse fan? I don't know.
I love the Nurse. Nurse back then, when I was still a comp player, was played up and down and up and down. That kind of changed. Like all of these M1 killers, Oni, Plague, and so on, they came pretty late into comp DBD. Nurse was the #1 killer back then. You basically saw her in every single comp match, and I do like it a lot because with all the skill pack that she has, she leaves very little room for survivor mistakes. And when we talk about win or loss, it is sometimes 5 to 10 seconds during a match to either grind out the final generator and make a difference in that, or reaching a hook or opening an exit gate. So and this tight comparison that we want to have between the teams, this is perfect for the biggest tournament so far. So it is perfect with the Nurse here.
A big fan. We have a spicy perk on the screen right now. Deathbound is very interesting, as we see it come through right there. So Deathbound makes you scream, and then when you leave, when you finish a heal, you scream, and then when you leave, I forget the distance. I think it might be 12 or at least maybe 24. Regardless, when you get away from the good down on Bubble there by Flix. When you leave the area, when you split up as survivors, the healer becomes oblivious. So a little bit more sneaky Nurse play, and also the information you get from finding out where people heal. Yeah, you maybe whenever they finish your heal, someone's going to scream, and that will give you a good idea. It's an interesting tracking perk without having, a lot of tracking perks. A lot of aura perks are banned in competitive play, but Deathbound is an interesting one. Quick unhook on Bubble, still at 5 gens. Are we going to see a tunnel out at 5 gens here?
That would be incredible to see. Flix going back behind the main building here. And we do see that Bubble is serving the juice, though. He waited perfectly for the double back, for the distance, and he does survive another double blink right here. First generator coming out in the distance. But this time it looks like the parts have changed. Now it's going to be Bubble down here. But look at that generator progress. Swatter and Hartwell both working on the second generator already. Usually we say golden rule. It is great to see the first few generators when a survivor is eliminated. That is the case here, but we also work on a third generator over there. So it is good for Flix. Yet the survivor team can be happy with the progress they got so far. The big question is, how long will this next chase be, and how good are they able to take care of the remaining generators? Because if Flix is now building up his 3-gen fortress on the main building side, then it's gonna get tricky.
Well, and it's actually, the double up there was really, really important. I don't know if the survivors, they probably were able to call it out. We have Pop Goes the Weasel and Eruption. Obviously, when the down came in on Bubble, really quick down on the Magic there. But on the right side of the map, this is good. Going back to what I said, if they hadn't doubled that after that hook, after that final hook on Bubbo, and you run over there and get the Pop Goes the Weasel on that top middle gen, it would have been really devastating for the survivors. So they managed to get it down, get it done, doubled up even through the eruption, and secure 2 generators before they start the 3v1. Now, the important part about any Nurse set, it's obviously you want to, juking a Nurse is a good idea. But doesn't go for the trade. That's very interesting. The reality is, though, you want to die in the right spot, and Swatter kind of understands this, the job here. Swatter wants to live as long as possible, but it's more important to die down that side of the map than it is to live for an extra 10, 12 seconds. You want to die as far away from those main building generators as you can in order to let them break that 3-gen. Death position is so important when it comes to competitive play, but particularly against a strong killer like the Nurse. Pop goes the Weasel's gonna run out. Oh, just not in time. Oh no, Dyer.
Unfortunate. Yeah, this would be what we really needed here. LeMagic though seems like he's gonna go into the second stage. Swatter is never mind. I was about to say not the candidate to move in here, but the reset came through. Flix though proving the game sense, knows that it happened behind the Shack. Swatter here with the medkit, so Hardwell could potentially move around and catch LeMagic just in time. That will be a very important moment of the match, but LeMagic does hit second stage. So the next target for potential elimination here, Swatter trying to get away, and Hardwell prioritizing the generator, basically giving up the location now. But I do think I can agree with that. Ariandel must realize as well it's looking tricky, and the most important, the win condition, or the first win condition that we keep in mind, is the number of completed generators. So if you are able to potentially get more gens done after the reset, or you get definitely one more gen done, I can understand why you take the guaranteed gen. And it even looks like Hardwell is a miracle and he's hiding.
Okay, it's really interesting. Hardwell finished one of the generators and then came over to this generator, which is where we found Swatter earlier. Swatter up! Gonna get the unhook using the plot twist. Gonna go down. Hardwell's gonna live a little longer. It's sorry, not Hardwell. LeMagic is gonna live a little bit longer. Hardwell finished the generator and then had heard communications from Swatter. Hey, my generator had a lot of progress. You should go check it out. And unfortunately, the eruption coupled with the just general regression had regressed it back below 50%. But this is a really gutsy move here by the survivors of Ariandel, trying to get those generators done, leaving people in the dying state, trying to get that generator done. And so far things are going okay. They're still living. Swatter's up, Hardwell's up, does take a hit. LeMagic is on Death Hook at the bottom side of the map there by Shack. But Flix knows that if you grab that hook, you might have given up that generator or given up a reset. Survivors now are trying to make this a 4K1, and they're doing a pretty good job. Oh no! That almost got in!
Grab Swatter. He does grab Swatter. That's a time loss for the Survivor team. But Andrew, let's be honest for a second. I hate being harsh on our players because they are on stage, but the fact that Ariandel is still standing is a crime.
I agree.
They sacrificed their location being known of the last survivor in exchange for one more gen, and now we are still here running after them, letting them pick each other up, have more of them like in the trial. I hope Flix is not giving up another generator, because basically we are supposed to be in the main menu 3 minutes ago.
You're not wrong. We had Swatter slugged, LeMagic dying on hook, and Hardwell finished the generator at the same time. All kind of happened at the same time. Swatter plot twists. Hardwell goes for the generator, not the save, and Flix has been trying to recover ever since that happened. So you're not wrong there. Hardwell did die by the generators, which is what choices did you have? But it's a little bit better for our killer. I think we're probably going to see a hook on Swatter here just to get one on the board and put a little bit more pressure on LeMagic. Maybe not. Do we have eyes? What was that blink? Nope, we got the unhook. I'm confused what just happened there. Oh, you know what? Swatter has deli and Flix knows. That's what that is. It's a waste of time. Yeah, okay. Never mind. That's what that is. I got you. Yeah. I want to point out that sorry, I was gonna say our wonderful info desk told me that, but I said it before I read it, so I just want to say I was somewhat aware. Anyways, go ahead.
I was just about to say, Flix just realized that he's already 3 times longer in this trial than he's supposed to be, so he's slugging to say, why not even spending another 10 minutes on top? But the decision there definitely making sense. Swatter going down once again, and now it's back to the French wizard LeMagic to get the reset done. On to Hardwell here. They do get the unhook. That is definitely proving again how good Ariandel is with the fighting back. As said, they were supposed to be 4K'd. a long time ago now, when they sacrificed the third generator in order for the location being revealed, basically. Ariandel is fighting, and honestly, after so much fighting, I actually hope that they get generator number 4 done, because in my opinion, someone who's fighting so hard and so long, he deserves getting an additional gen.
I can't, sorry to scream in your ear. My goodness, that was like the perfectly timed, the perfectly timed swing, because it waited out the dead hard and then hit at max distance. Now, LaMagic got about 60% done on this generator, but it's just not going to be enough, unfortunately. Well, no, it's not going to be enough. It's like, well, it's still going. Well, all right, it's done. So I think, Dyer, you might finally be you might be an oracle. You may finally be correct, and we will see a 4K2 here. Maybe.
Finally, possibly. Not caster cursing anyone.
I mean, it's not over yet.
I mean,
we'll see.
Now it should work out for Flix, though, right?
I can't see any world that doesn't. Well, if no, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I was gonna say, what if Slaughter bleeds out, but it doesn't matter.
But he picks up one more time. We are still not done. Ariandel is still fighting. They are still going for it. And to everyone who's now wondering, why is he letting Swatty go, risking the potential hatch in DBDLeague? The hatch or the exit gates only count if all generators have been completed. So technically, if Swatter is taking the hatch now, he does get a plus rep on the stream profile. He does get a little bit of style points, but he will not change anything about the 4K on the team here. Flix with a wonderful performance. Seemed a little bit shaky. Early game, the elimination was definitely a good call. Then Ariandel making a comeback. Then out of nowhere, it was supposed to be a 4K, and now 10 minutes after the initial 4K, we do have the end of the trial. So a little bit shaky, but sometimes it is better. Welcome to Germany.
Besser.
It is better to besser. Indeed, it's better in German. Sometimes it's just better if you do reach a great result, a little bit shaky and with a little bit of an up and down, instead of straight up getting it, but a weaker one. So as long as it works out at the end, number-wise, Flix can be very happy.
Poor Swatter spent so much time on his belly that match that I think it would have been quicker to let him lay and bleed out than actually go through the 3 hook stages last hook there. That's how long Swatter was on the ground. So he was having a good time, though.
In season 10, so they also have a good hand for making a little bit of a shake-up and a surprise here. But we are in, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Fallen Art with a legendary comeback into season 10. One of the most recognized comp nurse players against Courtney, Ward, Flix, and we won. Oracle about to make a huge shake-up, winning 3-0 against Ariandel here. All they have to do, and it does sound definitely easier than done, is 4 generators, and that should be possible. You might say you can ignore a 3-gen, that definitely works for yourself. You can be a little bit greedy on the final 4th generator. You could triple up potentially, but Ward being found here towards the edge of the map, that's tricky, and Fallen Art not getting bamboozled at all. We are seeing a triple in the distance, and Deliverance is down on the floor. So far, yeah, Oracle's game plan not working out, and I'm not sure if that is in time for the gen. Okay, yeah, they make that. Good news.
I wasn't sure if you saw that. That's the last person you want to see get hit first. We have Ward on hook, so Deliverance is completely out of this, and particularly when you have Deliverance, it often means you don't have a whole lot of other sort of second chance perks, because the idea is that you want to be not found first, and then you want to be, you know, a juicy target for the killer afterwards, because you can kind of take care of yourself. But being on hook first, oh my goodness, and now Flix is going down. This isn't over. This isn't over. We get a FDP coming in. Courtney heals Ward up to full, so Ward is going to live a little while longer. Flix is down. We only got 1 generator, but we did get 1 generator, so the triple up did end up paying off. Interesting. Very interesting. That down came in at 1 minute and 15 seconds, by the way.
1 minute 15, definitely a good chase against the Nurse. We have seen way quicker results than that. Fallen Out, unfortunately, not able to reach Ward there. Seems like he was expecting the double back, so blinking short, but Ward just holding W away from the killer. We are going edge map again, trying to stretch the gameplay a little bit across the entire map. That does cost a few extra seconds for Fallen Art, and you can use that time for the pickup. Perfectly done! Locker Juke coming out successful as well. 10 extra seconds here for Ward and Team Oracle. Looking good so far. They look strong. They have an idea. I'm positive that looks, if you're an Oracle fan, you can start rolling out the Oracle flag from your balcony for the neighbors. It looks good.
I mean, we'll see. Okay, yeah, we are 1 generator away. Things were going pretty, like, this is going pretty well for Ariandel, but unfortunately, it's one of those situations where you have to win, and we are 1 generator away from the tie condition and therefore the win condition for Team Oracle. This is very wild. Interesting, we're seeing genetic limits as instead of Deathbound on this build. Same build except genetic limits instead of a Deathbound, so that will cause exhaustion, take a few of the exhaustion perks out of play. I don't know if it's going to end up paying off, though. This is scary. The problem is Fallen Art is kind of camping Ward, which is all well and good, but the problem is that they can literally just sit on generators and get done. And you can see on the HUD there that Flix and V1 are both down by Shaq, finishing that generator up by the hill, and I think we're going to see it pop. Even if we do see it down here on Cartney or a death on Ward, there it is. That's Oracle winning the entire set. Now, it's not yet, 3-0, because it could be 2-1. We'll have to wait and see. But they're 1 generator away from 3-0, and they have officially clinched the win for today.
2-0 or 3-0, that's the big question here. 1 more gen would be needed. And to everyone who's now protesting, saying, how is it 2-0 a win for Team Oracle? Well, we are in set number 3, and if this one is a tie, we stay on 2-0. But with just 1 more set, you cannot turn a 2-0 into a 2-2. So Oracle is the winner. But the 3-0 is what we would like to see here. Flix and we won. The responsibility is on your shoulders. 1 more generator is needed. 1 more fantastic chase towards the edge map of the Cold Tower. Maybe a little bit longer than this one. But
that looked like a hit.
Good, and Oracle is celebrating.
That looked like a hit out of main by someone who didn't have No, you know what it was? It was genetic limits. The hit came in and we dropped out of main, but genetic limits swallowed up the balanced landing, and we got 0 distance. So there you go, guys. Genetic limits value. Let's go.
Let's see what they can pull here. Cartney and we won. They will drag the chases towards the edge of the Cold Tower. They will try to maximize distance. They will try to maximize the time that Fallen Art has to spend here. And Fallen Art is playing a good Nurse trial, as we are used to it, as we have seen him since the comeback.
God, I love this game so much. It's the silliest. It's so intense, and like crazy stuff gonna happen, and the juicer chases and oh my god, the flick in that, and then you get goofy stuff like plot twist. I love this game so much. My goodness. Hook on B1. We don't have a lot of gen progress here though, so I don't know how much farther we're gonna get. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel like now where they have won against Ariandel, they are a little bit on their playground now. They are enjoying it. They are probably already celebrating, which is very well deserved here for Oracle. They have played fantastically. And yeah, I do think it is going to be a good day for the season overall. It does shake the playoffs a little bit. It does put pressure on the other teams here. And yeah, Fallen Art playing a good match, but wasn't able to go for the 4K on 3 gens remaining. But honestly, where are the Oracle fans? Because I feel like that should be a 3-0, right? If you pull the surprise against Ariandel, then pull it correctly.
Oh yeah, rooting for the let's get a gen done. I totally agree with that. And you know what, like the trouble is we've got a pretty good split here. Like we got 3 gen down by main building, but this gen down here is still here. By the way, I just realized I made a mistake earlier. I said that they were doubling the generator at the hill. The hill's still active. It must have been the gen on the other side of Shack there. But regardless, same difference. I got called out. I got called out on the YouTube. Guys, go check out our YouTube if you miss any of the games today. I got called out on the YouTube for saying the plot twist. I got called out on the YouTube for saying that Rocket only used one pallet in a chase last week, and I was wrong. It was 3, but it was still a very good chase anyways. So I have to correct myself before I get all the comments. So
we won. We won is basically getting face camped now, hopefully, for his plot twist play that we have seen. But even this, like in all seriousness now, this final set point still matters a lot, because it is a difference for the standings if you lose 3-0 or if you lose 2-0, basically. That is doing something with the standings, and that is going to have quite some impact at the end. So Fallen Art will try to get the best possible result in this Nurse trial, and will try to tie it up. That's going to be Flix onto the ground. We see We1 does not get reset, so the generators with the priority here. They are trying to get that done as quick as possible. Never mind We1 actually getting healed. I was not expecting that to be the strategy.
Neither was I. They were listening
especially
to you.
with
They're
this
like, no, we're
progress here.
healing.
And this progress here, and knowing that the killer has pop, I would have bet that they are prioritizing this, even with a double up in worst case. Yeah, you can die right next to the generator and sacrifice your life for it. As long as you get it, you basically win with a 3-0 here. But going for another rescue also tells us that Oracle is planning in a much longer run than just this one generator here.
Say maybe V1 used the med kit. I would imagine it was maybe on the deli on ward earlier, but they have a toolbox in their hand. So I don't know whether they did that and then picked up the toolbox again, or if it was a reset. Like there seemed to be quite a bit of progress on this hill gen over here from our Nancy player Cartney. So maybe it was they're kind of doing both, work on the gen and heal, but it's unclear because they don't have the med kit in their hand right now. So, but we're doubling up on this gen. This time, you're right though. Flix with the dead arm, but they get the gen done, and Oracle wins, baby. Let's go. 3-0. Wow, what a great play by. I'm actually excited for Oracle. That is fantastic. I am so happy with this result. No disrespect to Ariandel. I love you guys. You guys have played fantastic, but you saw it. It was like the underdog. Everyone likes an underdog story. Nobody believed in Oracle except me, who can't prove it, but trust me, I believed in them. If I had bet, I would have bet 3-0. I just forgot to put in my prediction. It was 3-0 Oracle all day. Trust me, guys. Trust me. Yeah, really good game. Really good games with Oracle.
Let me Photoshop some messages from you real quick. Wow, Oracle.
Can you believe I will bet $1,000 that Oracle will win 3-0? Wow, what a prediction by Andrew.
Oracle standing here with Flix and We1. Still though, you do not get these survivors down. It is not enough for them to just take generator number 4. It is not enough to just take the 3-0. They are aiming to get the outs here. They want to leave week number 7 with a signal, with a sign, and say Oracle should not be underestimated when talking about the playoffs, and they will not sneak in from the back door as 6th or 5th playing one game and then as winner of that playing against team 4 and then making it into the playoffs. They might have a chance here to be directly qualified. As we said, tomorrow Elysium is playing. They need a win as well, but Jinx is a team that pulled surprises like this before during this season, so it is not guaranteed that Elysium wins tomorrow at all. And then Oracle would come out as a huge winner of week number 7 here. Cartney staying slugged. Fallen Art doesn't want to give up the final generator here. Imagine they would now take the outs. That would be
Could you imagine?
Horrendous.
Be wonderful. I was just looking at the schedule. So we have 2 weeks left in the round robin regular season, what you want to call it, and on with the final plot twist. But was like, listen, you're not downing me. I'm never letting you down me. I don't care if I die. I'm not letting you down me. As I was saying, though, Oracle's last 2 matches will be against Cynic, who before today was just below them in the standings, but this win will definitely help vault them a little bit ahead again. And then Elysium. So, like you said, there is some opportunity for Oracle to not only extend their record, but also take their Blair witching it in the corner here. They can take their own take their destiny. That's the word I'm looking for. They can take their fate, their destiny into their own hands and really make a play for the last couple weeks in the season. I'm sorry. I absolutely love Flick's Blair witching it in the corner there. That was fantastic. And it looks like we're gonna get a 4K1.
Yep. What a game, ladies and gentlemen. Oracle coming out, smiling and celebrating, and they can be really, really proud of themselves here. A lot of people in the community did not have Oracle on the radar, especially not with the 3-0. There's certainly some people out there that say, yeah, 1 set I can imagine is being taken by Oracle here, but other than that, a lot of people said beforehand in the community as well when discussing this upcoming match, Ariandel gonna take the win, because also Ariandel needs this win so much for the playoffs qualification. That's going to be pretty clear, and now we look at a 3-0 for Team Oracle. Fantastic story, ladies and gentlemen, and we have one more fantastic story for today. That's going to be the Battle of the Regions, basically. Seraph from North America playing against Sinners from South America. So we are switching continent. We switch the standings, hopefully, a little bit, because Sinners and Seraph kinda down there at the end of the standings at the moment.